Pierre just wants a whisk, Santa.
Pierre, these cookies you left me are crap! They ho suck 'cause they're so dry! You know what that means? You get coal for Christmas!
Why, Santa?
Ho ho ho!
No, Pierre is sorry for the cookies. No, Pierre doesn't want coal. No, Santa, no, not coal, Santa, no! Pierre has to get cooking. Ginger snaps, sugar cookies. No, Santa needs the best cookies there is. Oh, bonjour, hello. Welcome back to Cuisine à la Pierre. I, of course, am Pierre. And on today's episode, Pierre is in big trouble. Pierre had a horrible nightmare that Santa did not like his cookies. And instead of giving Pierre the whisk that he really wants, he gave Pierre coal. And so Pierre is trying to find the best cookie recipe to leave for Santa. But these are all not good enough. Chocolate chip, snickerdoodles. No. Wait. Of course! Why didn't Pierre think of this before? Pierre will make his famous peanut butter star chocolate cookies. If these don't work, then nothing will. Come help Pierre make these. The things that makes Pierre's peanut butter cookies so special is that they are soft and chewy. Most peanut butter star cookies that you have are dry and crunchy, and they just aren't very good in Pierre's opinion. But these cookies are soft, they're big, so you have a little bite to it, and then we use the star instead of a Hershey's Kiss, because the Hershey's Kiss, if you bite and you try to get a little bit of the chocolate along with the cookie, your teeth slip right down on the edge of the kiss. And so then if you take a bigger bite, well then the kiss jabs you in the roof of the mouth. No, you use the chocolate star and then bite and you can have a little bit of chocolate with your whole cookie. And so it's a pretty easy recipe, and we will go ahead and get started right away with the ingredients. However, if you are making Christmas cookies, the normal chef's hat will not do. No, what you need is your Santa hat! And Pierre thinks he does a pretty good Santa. What do you think? Ho. Pretty good, no? Come on, let's get started. Get yourself a bag of chocolate stars. They can be hard to find during the holiday season, so make sure you get them plenty early. And before we do anything else, these need to go in the freezer, and Pierre will tell you why in a little bit. So let's just go over those ingredients real fast. First we have half a cup of creamy peanut butter, half a cup, which is 1 stick of margarine. Pierre recommends using margarine with this recipe because it will give you a better texture than regular butter. Here we have half a cup of white sugar, half a cup of light brown sugar, and when you measure brown sugar, you need to make sure you pack it into the measuring container. Here we have 1 teaspoon of vanilla. We have 1 large egg, 2 tablespoons of milk, 2% or whole milk. We need that little bit of fat. 1 teaspoon of baking soda, half a teaspoon of salt, and lastly, 1 3/4 cup of flour, all purpose. So the next thing we need to do is preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. And then over here, we are going to take our dry ingredients and combine them. So that is going to be our flour, our salt, and our baking soda. And we will just leave that alone for a moment and work on what is called the wet ingredients. First, we're going to take our sugar. Even though this is not a liquid, it's still considered a wet ingredient, and we want to make sure that it goes in with this. brown sugar as well. The milk. The egg. Vanilla. And this is room temperature softened. The margarine. And last but not least, the most important ingredient, the peanut butter. Alright, so what we want to do here is just blend it until it is creamy. Always start out on low so you don't send things flying everywhere. It's important to have the butter soft or else you will have lumps that will not come out very well. About midway through, we'll stop and give it the scrape down. Another minute or so. And just like that, we are done. Now this recipe can be doubled or tripled very easily. Pierre usually does triple because so many people like the cookies. One thing Pierre forgot to do is, normally you need to put the liquid ingredients in a bigger bowl because we're going to now add the dry ingredients to the liquid. And so the final bowl will be the ones that the liquid started in. Since we're only doing one batch, the smaller bowl is okay. But if you were doing a double or triple, you would probably want to put your liquids in the biggest one. At this point you may be saying to yourself, Pierre, when you're in the festive mood making cookies, what do you like to drink? Is it maybe hot chocolate? Or some hot tea? Well no, Pierre, he likes to drink his wine. But not just any wine, Pierre drinks his spiced wine. And you can see how he made that right up there. It's a very easy recipe. And you'll be sure to put all of the adults in your party in the festive mood. Isn't that so good? Wow. So now, while we are running the beaters, we are going to slowly add in the dry ingredients. And keep your flour nearby because we may need to add a little bit more. You want to go slow with this, so it gets time for all the dryness to get absorbed. You don't want to just go dumping it all in. Just let the dry get mixed in better so you don't get clumps. Pierre can smell the peanut butter cookies already and he wants to take a big bite, but we will wait. Pierre does not normally make this big of a mess in the bowl, but he's trying to get it so the camera can see. So we'll scrape that down. Now Pierre can tell already that this is going to need more flour, because it should be to the point where we can take it with our fingers and make a ball, and that is way too soft. So we're just going to sprinkle in some more flour, and this is where baking it's just how dough is. Sometimes it's softer than it should be, just could depend on any kind of circumstances. So you just have to kind of add a little bit of flour, but you don't want to add too much because then you get that dry cookie that we are not wanting at all. It should be just to the point where it won't stick on your fingers when you try to make a ball out of it. So let's give this a try. It's still just a little bit too soft, so we will add little bit more flour. We're up to about a quarter of a cup. And that right there is pretty good. If we roll it around, could go just a little bit more. We'll put the whole third cup in. So it should not stick to your hand too terribly bad. You see how it's coming off Pierre's hand and not leaving a peanut butter mess? That is perfect. So in the end we added an extra third cup. You may have to add a little bit more, a little bit less. Now this recipe will give you about 20 to 25 cookies depending on how big you make them. But you want to have a little bit of dough. You don't want just a tiny cookie that almost is the same size as the chocolate. No, you need to have a cookie. So we'll take, about that much. And we'll roll it up. That might be a little too big. We will roll it up and roll it in the sugar. You don't have to get it perfect. You could just dip the tops or you could roll the whole thing. And we'll put it on an ungreased baking sheet. And these will spread out quite a bit, so probably only 3 per row on a normal size baking sheet. So this is where you will know if you have enough flour, because if you don't have enough flour, your hands will quickly become covered in peanut butter, and that is quite a mess. Now let's talk about baking sheets for a second. Some people swear by the air bake, where it's a layer of aluminum with air pocket in between. And Pierre doesn't really like those as well because they crisp up the edges of the cookie too much. Pierre just likes a plain, light-colored aluminum baking sheet for these cookies. Now we could throw that one right in the oven, but with all the filming, it's hard for Pierre to get everything done and clean his fingers, so we will just roll out all the balls first. We're getting close. Yes, if your hands are like this right from the start, you know you have a problem. You needed more flour. And this is probably because Pierre did not mix or scrape the bowl very well due to the camera work. You can probably get one more, and the last little bit will be for licking the bowl. And there we go, right there. And we will just save that for Pierre for later. So, we ended up getting 21 cookies out of that batch, which is right in the sweet spot. So now we need to throw it in the oven for about 7 minutes. And then we will add the chocolate stars. The rack should be on the medium. In the middle, I mean. Alright, that beeping means it's time to put the chocolate stars in. Now, it could be anywhere from 6 to 8 minutes. The more you make these, the more you learn, but 7 minutes is a good time. Just depends on your oven. So those look pretty good. And this is why we needed to chill the chocolate stars, because we're going to put these back in the oven for 3 more minutes to finish cooking. And you see how it kind of breaks right around the edge? That is perfect. Got to hurry up, because these chocolates will melt. And you can see that these will definitely not be falling out, because they're getting in deep into the dough. And so what you can do is, while you are baking one, you can be panning the other one and kind of get on a rotation if you're making a double or triple batch. Alright. So back into the oven for 3 more minutes. Alright, so that is 3 minutes. we'll pull these out. And since all we have is the one batch, we will go ahead and kill the oven. And now we're going to let these cool down just a little bit, because if you try to scrape them off the pan right now, they'll just fall apart. So, now that the cookies have had a little time to cool, we'll go ahead and put them on a paper towel for them to finish resting before we pack them away for transport, or put a few on the plate for Santa. And the best thing to do is to let these cool down, even though they look really good right now, because that chocolate star will get hard again, so then when you bite it, it will be a nice texture. Otherwise, they'll just be all melty right now. But Pierre thinks these are the perfect ratio of chocolate to cookie. So you can take a bite here, get a little bit of chocolate. You can take a bite here, get a little more. You can see where the Hershey's Kisses is hard to do. Or some people, they make the peanut butter just the same size as the chocolate. And it's like a finger food. You eat the whole thing all at once. And there we are. Now we will let these cool and get ready for Santa. So now that they're cooled down, let's give them a try and hope that they're good enough for Santa. And you can see how you have so much cookie to chocolate ratio? Pierre thinks that's perfect, and look at how tender that is. That is definitely not a crunchy cookie. Oh, that is so good. If these don't impress Santa, then I don't know what else to do. All I can do is put them out and hope. Santa came, and he ate my cookies, and drank the milk. Uh-oh, I hope there's not coal in these.
Pierre, you had nothing to worry about. I always love your cookies, and these are indeed my favorites. Merry Christmas. Love, Santa.
Could it be? It is! It's a new whisk! Oh, Pierre, what is this so bad? Well, thank you for joining Pierre in baking cookies for Santa. From Pierre's house to yours, have a Merry Christmas. And until next time, happy cooking and bon appetit. Mwah! So good. Pierre tried. He's sorry. No. Why am I still snoring?
Have to do Santa now. Ho, ho, ho. Pierre, these cookies are crap.
That's so stupid. Get it right up here. Ah, you're fine. Why, Santa? Oh, you got me, all right. I asked for it. So, these things that makes peanut butters. Hello, I'm Peanut Butter. Pierre can smell the peanut butter cookies already, and he wants to. That battery just died. Oh, good. 3, 2, 1. That was loud. All I can do is put some out and hope. Well, good.